Should have took my jacket off. I'm a little sweaty.
So that is an exciting win. It's back-to-back gritty victories for you guys. What does that say about the character of this young team?
I really like their patience and their composure, right? Because you know it's not always going to go well. And I think maybe the first 3 games, we had a bit of cruising moments where we were kind of ahead of it a lot, and today we're behind it a lot. So I just like the way they stay composed, and the battle of our offense. I mean, those repossessions down the stretch in that final 6-7 minutes was incredible. And not big guys, but you got Travis Longboat getting 3 or 4 repossessions in the last stretch, Ethan Walker, Simmons, Kurt, like the whole offensive group. So those are tough minutes to play, and they've done a great job.
You talked about somebody that your other young forwards, maybe not Firth as much. Can you tell us a little more about him and how he's fit in coming from Vegas?
Yeah, he's a guy, he generates offense without the ball, if that makes sense. I mean, he is always moving. He sets great picks. He creates defensive indecision because of his movement patterns. And then you saw him 2 big goals there down the stretch, right? Just he does a lot for our offense. I mean, it was funny last weekend. I think he got 1 assist versus Sask, and we said that might have been his best game, just because of what he did for everybody else and how he's one of those guys that generates offense without generating offense, if that makes sense. Like, he just makes the group better, and he's been playing great.
And so Colton Watkinson, really great. He's been an amazing leader out there on the floor. Halifax really pushed it to be really chippy at certain times, and he got into it. What can you say about that kind of leader that can go out there and really push back?
Yeah, funny you say that. We just talked about that. And the penalty he took was one of those ones where I prefer he not. It's when you've got a game that's close. I understand emotion better than anyone, right? But we had to talk about that. I said, you can be a presence. We just don't want you to take the penalty, right? We want to. I mean, I think we might have been down by 1 at that point. And we want to take advantage of that. So it's hard in real time, right? There's a passionate game, and you see one of your players get rocked, and but he does. He plays with passion. He sticks up for his teammates, and they feed off that energy. So maybe that was a case where they said, we're going to bail him out, right? So, but he's been great. Great as a captain. He's got into that role and done a great job.
Coach, apologize if you already answered this, but just between your opening game and then holding on in overtime at SAS and then tonight, how pleased are you with your team's ability to execute late in these games?
It's been great. I mean, it is. It's stressful. I like the gaps down the stretch, right? But it is nice to see, and they've almost, their composure. It almost looks and feels like a veteran team where they've got this confidence. They don't really get rattled. They just keep playing, and then different guys. It was Firth today making big plays, and Simmons was having a bit of a tough night in terms of scoring. He had some pretty good chances. I mean, the 2 he scored on were pretty far outside shots, and he probably missed 3 or 4 right on the crease dancing, which he's normally money on those. So, he was having a bit of a tough night, but he found a way as well, and other guys contributed, which is, it's sort of been the calling card all year, is the balance in scoring, Travis Longboat, everybody else. So it's been fun to ride.
I mean, you got the youngest roster. They have to have one of the oldest, right?
Yeah.
Vanessa alone, I mean, the guy's like 38 years old. Are you surprised you'd be able to kind of out-execute them down the stretch with all the experience they have over you?
Yeah, I think our oldest guy on offense is probably younger than their youngest guy. I mean, I don't know if they have, maybe Peterson and Walker are similar age, but yeah, I don't know if we probably don't have a guy on our offense that's as old as their youngest guy. And it's been good. I mean, offense is a funny thing because it's almost like putting a puzzle together, right? You don't always know how the pieces are going to fit because you could have marquee players that don't, so it's been a good fit so far, and I think it's a good blend of personalities where they're not really selfish. They take accountability, hold each other accountable. Because there was moments there I was getting on them for things that they shouldn't be doing, right? And they take responsibility for that. So that's growth and that's learning.
I mean, that being said, was that were you expecting your offense to gel this well together? I mean, like you said, Longbow, Palace has only got, this is 34th year in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You have a very young team that's performing very well down the clutch, in the closing time.
Mm-hmm.
For Simmons to be able to get those goals, is that stuff you were looking for when you picked, or is that just an added benefit of the talent that you picked?
It's both. I mean, we were very purposeful in the moves we made over the last couple of years, getting draft picks and bringing in, getting Simmons and Kurtz. And, I didn't know what we would get offensively. We thought we were going to be better, but until you bring them all together, you don't know what that configuration looks like. So they're further ahead than I would have thought at this point, to be honest. I mean, I knew we had, if you look at it though, we've got Simmons is a first-round pick, Kurtz is a first-round pick, Palace is a first-round pick, Grennan's a first-round pick, Walker's a first-round pick, and that was one of the things I talked about was we need to get talent in there because there's no substitute for talent. So we were very purposeful about trying to increase the overall talent base of our offense, and then they're young, right? You don't know how fast they're going to gel, and I've liked what I've seen so far.
What did you tell your defense before during that last time out?
You know what? I didn't tell him anything. I talked to Clem, and then he delivered the message. I mean, it's one of those things where we talk so much all week with video and practice and shoot around, and there's times when I talk to them, and then there's times when I let the message get delivered, and they knew the different sets they were going to run. They knew what our look-fors were. They knew our rotations, and I don't know who it was, kind of stepped in the middle, broke up that pass, and then allowed Nick to get the ball. So we kind of anticipated one of the sets they were running, and it worked out.
So Simmons now has 32 points in just 5 games this season.
Wow.
In comparison,
What did he get tonight? I don't even know.
5 points.
Wow.
And so when you look at that in comparison to Jeff Teet's rookie season, which was a record-setting rookie year,
Yeah.
he's only 2 points behind that pace right now.
Wow.
So considering what we've said about Simmons all year long, what can you say now with this kind of 5-game marker about how he's played?
I mean, obviously he's a high-end talent. That's why we coveted him so much, and I've been telling you guys we've been waiting on him because we know he's going to be good. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think he'd be at this pace, right? I thought he'd be finding his way, right? And just, I think the beauty for him, and I heard him mention it not too long ago when he was on a radio or a podcast or something. He's in a good situation too, because a lot of rookies that come in, they're way down the depth chart, right? They're not getting power play time. They're pushed back. He's coming into a group that's pretty much here, right? They're all the same kind of age and status and everything else. So he's not having to wait his turn so much as a rookie. So he's being allowed to exert himself and showcase his talents, and it's been great so far, obviously. I mean, we knew what he was. I mean, we've coached against him since he was 15 years old, right? So we knew how skilled he was, how talented he was. But yeah, that's quite a pace. I mean, that's over 5-6 points a game. That's pretty impressive.
Was that typical Jameson today, or was he even a little bit better than that?
He was so good, eh? And it was one of those things. It's sometimes the timing of the saves too. He's back to where he was, when he was goaltender of the year type of thing. Just key saves at key times, and just so smooth and transitioning the ball up. Like, they had some pretty good looks that just turned into routine saves for him, and that's what you need. You're not going to win without good goaltending, and he's providing it.
Is he really 330? It says it on the right. I can't believe he's actually. He moves so well.
Yeah, I don't want to comment. I don't know. Yeah, might have been that might have been the physical weight, and now he's kind of grooming himself down.
Pads on when they weighed him?
I don't know. He's a big man, but he moves well, and that's the thing. He's just smooth. Like, he's very fluid in the net, and part of that is his skill set, right? He reads stick angle, he reads shot, he reads mechanics. Like, he's just better at it than the rest of us, right? Like, he sees a guy wind up, and he can just read shoulder, hands, everything else, and he just kind of drifts into saves. So, it's a skill, and he's got it.
What's up?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Oh, it's